Hey everyone, back to another exciting episode of Attacker Productions. Today I bank up joined once again by, well, actually first time by Adam.
First time.
A couple weeks ago, I think it was me, you on camera. Adam was playing the Majin Buu deck. I was playing, was I playing Piccolo? Yeah, thanks for reminding me. I'll go back to it eventually. But you all asked for a profile. We're getting it finally. He brought it this weekend. He actually got second place stay with it, which is pretty fantastic. Only because me and him tied.
That's right.
So like always, just buttons down below. Feel free to click them there for a reason. But here we go.
All right. So we're playing Bibbidi today, Black Bibbidi. On this front side, it has an auto. When this card attacks, draw one card, and this card gets 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. The awakening condition is a little bit weird on this one. When you have no cards in hand, you could take 2 life, draw 3 cards, and then awaken. And we're able to kind of keep this thing on the front side for quite a while because of that plus 5k. We can go ahead and get into your opponent's awaken leaders pretty easily, and then when we're ready we can go ahead and awaken. So when we do awaken, we have a couple of different things. The first one is an auto. If you have no cards in your hand at the end of your turn, then you can go ahead and draw till you have 5 cards in your hand. It's got an activate main. Notice this is not a once per turn, but if you discard a card from your hand, you could either choose a 3 cost battle card on your opponent's side, and it goes underneath this card, and it stays there forever. And then you also have the option to give your leader a plus 5k boost for the turn, and that can stack. So it's a nice little way to get rid of the cards in your hand if you have any extra cards or anything like that, unisons that you can't combo with or anything like that. So the unison that we play with this particular leader is the Piccolo, Savior from the Beyond. It has a permanent. When you have for every 2 markers,
4. Okay.
Yep. Total of 4.
Make sure.
Sorry. Total of 4. It's got a permanent on here. For every 2 markers, it gets a plus 5k. And it's a really great way to kind of filter out your hand, get rid of cards in your hand if you don't have combo power or the ability to attack. A plus 2 on here is an activate main. Choose 1 card from your hand and discard it. You could also choose the activate main of the plus 1, which allows you to discard a card but also draw a card. We don't use that a whole lot because we're trying to get rid of cards in our hand so that we can go ahead and draw 5 at the end of our turn. And then you also have a -3, which can sometimes come in handy if people are playing things from their drop area. It says send up to 2 battle cards from your opponent's drop area to their warp. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the Buu chain first. So those of you who have played against this or played back when it was popular, we start with 4 of the Bobbities. This card, when you play it, if you discard a card from your hand, you can either grab a 2-drop Dabura, Pui Pui, Yakon, or Majin Buu card from your drop area, and you can actually play it. The target that we usually are looking for on this one is going to be your 2-drop Majin Buu, Ghastly Rampage. This one has an activate main. When you don't have any cards in your hand, you can go ahead and put this card into the drop area, and if you have 2 energy, you can grab I believe it's a 4 cost and from your drop zone and play it. The one that we do on that one is this 4 cost. We only play 3 of because we're filtering through our hand so much and our deck so much that we usually don't have a hard time getting these into the drop zone. So when you activate main on this one, you can go ahead and play on top of this card from your drop area a 3 to 6 cost Majin Buu, and the one that we'll usually go for is the 5-drop here. We want to try to get that crit damage if possible. People hate critical, so they'll usually dump some cards from their hands to prevent putting a card from their life right into the drop area. And then you can go ahead and, once again, activate main on this to get a 3 to 6 out of your drop area and play it on top in active mode. And we'll go ahead and go for this last one, which is a double strike. Usually if the opponent has a Unison on board, we'll go ahead and use this double strike 25k for the Unison to try to get rid of that, or we'll go ahead and continue to go at the leader for double strike 25k. And then the final step in this chain is a surprisingly good card. This is a 6 cost, that's a 20k, and it has a permanent. This card can't be removed from your battle area by your opponent's skills. It can be KO'd, but it can't be removed from the battle area with skills. The other permanent is one that's surprisingly good. When this card is in rest mode, your opponent can't use non-leader card skills to add cards from their deck to their hand. So super combos don't work. These situations where leaders are pulling, or battle cards are pulling from the deck to the opponent's hand, they can't do that anymore when this is in rest mode. And then a skill that doesn't really come up a whole lot, and we'll see why that is here in a little bit, is for 3, it's an activate battle. This card gets plus 10,000 power and triple strike for the duration of the turn. Now, sometimes you're not seeing the cards that you want, so we do play 4 of our Searcher, which is Majin Buu, Virtuous Demon. When you play this card, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and you can grab a black Majin Buu card. Doesn't matter what cost it is, and that's kind of what we use if we can't find that 2 cost that we really want to start our chain with. Now, something that is a little bit surprising is I found myself getting just totally lambasted by people who knew that the Buu chain was coming up, and so we've actually thrown in something a little bit extra. This is the Catopesla chain. It's very easy to get off. It's a black card, super easy, and so this particular one, it's a 1 cost. And then when you play this card, you can actually pull a 4 cost Catopesla from your drop area. So in this deck, your drop area is kind of a secondary hand for you. You can go ahead and grab multiple cards from there using the various skills. And then the 4 cost that we use, before we get into that, there is a really important activate main for 2. If your leader card is black and you have 4 or more energy, if you would activate Evolve, then you can actually do it for free. So 2, paying 2 and then being able to go all the way up the Catopesla chain is really beneficial. So the first step in that chain is going to be this 4 cost Catopesla Sonic Justice. It is an EX Evolve for 1. And it has dual attack and barrier. Also has an auto. If you pay 1, when an opponent's battle card with an energy cost of 4 or less attacks, negate the attack, then negate this skill for the turn. And then if you pay 2 more, you can go ahead and go into the 5 cost. And this one adds critical and double strike to the list of skills that this card starts to get. Also has a great auto. When you play this card, draw 1 card and then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and send it to its owner's warp. And then finally, kind of the big boss monster, I guess, is that 6 cost Catopesla Envoy of Justice. Has a wall of text here. Lots of red here, critical, double strike, dual attack, barrier. Also, when a card evolves into this card, switch this card to active mode. So sometimes people will be under the impression that you're done with your attack and you just pay an extra 1, and rather than having to overwhelm, now you've got something that's got critical, double strike, dual attack, and barrier, and now an active mode. So it's definitely a big surprise, and people will just pour cards into their combo area so that they're not taking those critical hits. For our super combo, since we are dumping things into our drop area, we don't really necessarily need the Vegeta. This super combo does great. It's a sparking 5 and allows you to draw a card. But one card that I think any deck where you know that you're not going to have a whole lot of hand, I would suggest running this Supreme Kai of Time. If you have 5 or less cards, it's essentially a super combo without the draw. So you get a 10k combo if you have 5 or less cards in your hand. So here's already 8 10k combos. And then you can also pick that card back up out of your drop with Power Burst. The great thing about Power Burst is that it does have Sparking 5. If you take a life, you can go ahead and play this counter attack for free, and you get to draw a 1 cost card from your drop area. So now, instead of it being 8 super combos, you potentially have now 11. A couple of tech choices. One, Pui Pui. This is for all of those Unison counterplay cards. This card essentially will stay on the board because of barrier, but the permanent says if your leader card is a black and you have 2 or less cards in your hand, your opponent can't activate counterplay skills. And finally, we've got a couple of Super Kamehamehas just to try to handle the board, prevent too much from coming out without your control. So I don't really do a whole lot of sideboarding because there's not really a whole lot of room. You usually just go face right from the very beginning. But for the blue matchup, I'll play a couple of Dark Power Masked Saiyans, as well as a couple other Pui Puis to prevent them from counterplaying my Buu or my Catopesla chains.
Awesome.
That's it.
Awesome. Well, appreciate it again, Adam.
Yeah.
There's buttons down below. Feel free to click me there for a reason. Like I said earlier, let us know how you're doing. Put it there. I'll respond, but Jimmy won't. I'm making this a thing. So, read your cards, know your plays, and fluff out.